Welcome to the kidsministry.blog podcast. Every episode, we share ideas, tips, and resources to help your children's ministry thrive.
Have you ever been in that situation? Maybe a new job or even just a new hobby, and you're just handed this mountain of information, binders, links, manuals. Yeah. And you feel buried before you even start, like totally overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. Well, today our deep dive tackles exactly that feeling, looking at volunteer training. What works best. And our insights are largely drawn from Kids Ministry blog, specifically their article with that same title, Volunteer Training, What Works Best. Our goal to really unpack how to get people ready for new roles effectively, turning that overwhelm into, confidence. We're using some surprising lessons from the volunteer world here. So let's jump right in with this story to share about a guy named Mark. New volunteer working with fifth graders, first day, boom. He gets this 15-page packet. It had the volunteer handbook, safety rules, behavior stuff, curriculum, emergencies. I mean, everything.
The classic info dump.
Exactly. And the next week, Mark looked, and I love this phrase in the article, like he'd been hit with a truck. He basically admitted it was too much, too confusing. He hadn't read most of it. Didn't know what actually mattered right then.
Yeah, and that's fascinating, isn't it? How totally counterintuitive good training can sometimes be. We think, okay, more info equals better prep. But Mark's story shows it often just ramps up the stress before they even begin. The blog makes a great point. Most volunteers don't quit in the first month because they don't know safety rules. They quit because they feel completely lost. That big packet wasn't building competence, it was building anxiety.
Wow, hit by a truck. That really paints a picture. Okay, so if the info dump is out, what's the alternative the source pushes for? How do you train someone without just handing them everything?
Well, the big shift is prioritizing immediate confidence, like the absolute must-knows. Their approach is basically start tiny, not everything at once.
Okay, so for Mark, what was tiny?
Things like, where are the bathrooms? What do I do right now if a kid gets hurt? How do I get your attention if I need help? Super practical stuff.
That makes sense.
The rest. They figured, well, let's deal with that later as things actually come up. It's not just about less information, you see. It's about tackling that real immediate fear of feeling lost. Let them handle this moment.
That does sound way less overwhelming. But, okay, what about the important policies? You can't just ignore those, right?
Yeah.
How does that fit in?
That's a fair question. And they don't ignore them, but the learning becomes more organic, which leads to the next strategy. Let them follow someone who knows.
Shadowing.
Exactly. So instead of just reading about managing kids, Mark shadowed Lisa, who was experienced. He saw how she talked to kids, handled little disruptions just smoothly. It really makes you think, how much better is showing than just telling? Mark learned way more about managing behavior by watching Lisa than he ever would from a handbook section.
Okay, so seeing it in action. But the article also talks about a shift from rules to relationships, right?
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah, this is crucial. Sometimes training makes these roles sound, well, kind of bureaucratic, like a DMV job, the article says.
Yeah, I can see that.
But the real heart, especially with kids, is connection. Learning names, showing you actually care. Mark even asked, what makes someone good at this? And the answer wasn't about knowing policy chapter 3.
What was it?
It was about genuinely caring about kids and letting them see it. Simple as that.
That makes so much sense, the human element.
Right. Policies are necessary, of course, but the relationships are the why. That's what provides the motivation, makes the rules actually mean something. It taps into purpose. And this connects to how they handled problems in the moment. Like when Mark didn't know how to deal with a kid being disruptive, they didn't say, let's schedule a training. No, they pulled him aside right then and showed him what to do. Real-time help.
Instant feedback. Nice. And they also started asking volunteers what they were worried about. Not just guessing.
Exactly. Instead of assuming, they asked. Mark was worried about things like, what if I don't know their names? Or what happens if a kid has a total meltdown? Real fears.
Got it. So address the actual anxieties.
Yes. And use stories, not policies, to make it stick. They shared a story about managing Tommy, a child with autism, or about a time someone fell on the playground. Mark remembered the story about Tommy when something similar happened. He didn't recall, Rule 7, subsection C. It's immediate, relevant, relatable.
The article also mentions making it about them, not you, focusing on the volunteer's own goals, like Mark wanting to connect better. And importantly, don't abandon after first week. Keep checking in. Help them find their groove.
Absolutely. And the result for Mark. The blog says he's been there 6 months now. He's confident, kids connect with him, parents trust him. It shows that shifting from that overwhelming info dump to this kind of empowering relationship-first support, it works. Volunteers feel equipped, not just thrown in. It's a totally different feeling.
So thinking about all this, what does it mean for you listening? Whether you're bringing someone new onto your team or teaching your kids something, or maybe even learning something yourself, these ideas about how to equip people effectively seem really powerful and broadly applicable.
Definitely. I think this deep dive really challenges us all to look at how we train people in any context. What are the training packets we're handing out in our jobs, maybe our community groups, even our families? Are they actually overwhelming people instead of enabling them? How can we use these principles? Start small, show, don't just tell, focus on relationships, address real fears to help others feel genuinely confident, equipped, and excited instead of, stressed, confused, and overwhelmed. Makes you think, doesn't it?
Thanks for listening. To find more ideas, tips, and resources, go to kidsministry.blog. We'll see you next time.